Gold. We've been obsessed with it for thousands of years, a symbol of wealth and power. But is it actually worth anything? Or is it all just in our heads? That's the big question we're tackling today. And we're going to do it by looking at the arguments from one of gold's biggest champions, Peter Schiff.
So this really gets to the heart of it, right? I mean, the critics say, look, if we all woke up tomorrow and just decided gold was worthless, well, it would be. So is it all just some kind of mass delusion we've held onto for centuries? Let's dig in and see. Okay, so before we can really get into why Schiff thinks gold is the real deal, we've got to understand the other side. What are the critics actually saying? They've got some pretty big questions about whether gold even has a place in today's world.
All right, so here's the showdown. On one side, you've got the skeptics. They're basically saying its value is all in our heads, it doesn't have a ton of real-world use, and it's basically just a shiny relic we used to like. But on the other side, Peter Schiff is saying, no, its value is real, it's physical. The market itself chose gold for very specific reasons to be the ultimate form of money.
And this is where it gets kind of spicy. Schiff has a theory about why so many people trash-talk gold. He basically says, think about it. If you're a huge fan of government-printed money, or maybe the latest cryptocurrency, you've got a reason to make gold look bad. It's like you're trying to make your own team look better by dissing the competition.
Okay, so if it's not just a story we tell ourselves, what gives gold its value? Well, according to Schiff, the answer is literally in the science, the physics and chemistry of the metal itself. He paints this picture of history as a huge, long-running competition to find the best possible money. And gold didn't get chosen by some king or government. It just won. It won because of what it is.
And here are the stats from that winning performance. You can divide it up, it's easy to carry around, you can shape it into coins or bars. It's also fungible, which is just a fancy way of saying an ounce of gold from ancient Rome is the exact same stuff as an ounce of gold mined today. But for Schiff, all of that is secondary to the one absolute killer feature.
It's practically immortal. Seriously, gold doesn't rust. It doesn't corrode. It doesn't tarnish. You can leave it at the bottom of the ocean for 1,000 years and it'll still be there, gleaming. Everything else falls apart, but gold just lasts. And that single fact, for Schiff, is what separates it from pretty much everything else on the planet.
This is such a cool way to think about it. Picture this, a ship loaded with treasure sinks way back in 526 AD. Fast forward 1,500 years to today. The ship itself? It's just wreckage. The iron fittings, rusted to nothing. Any cloth or paper? Gone. But the gold coins, the jewelry, it's all sitting there on the seabed looking pretty much perfect. Now that is what you call holding your value. So because of all these amazing physical traits, Schiff says gold isn't just a pretty metal. It's actually the perfect tool for the job. It naturally fits the three big roles that anything we call money is supposed to fill. It's not just a rock, it's a technology, a solution to the basic problems of trade.
And what are those three jobs? Okay, number 1, a unit of account. Number 2, a medium of exchange. And number 3, a store of value. Let's quickly go through each one and see how gold stacks up.
First up, unit of account. All this means is that it's a good way to measure the price of things, right? Trying to figure out how many apples a loaf of bread is worth is a huge pain. But if you can price everything in, say, grams of gold, suddenly you have a simple, stable ruler for value that everyone can understand.
Next, medium of exchange. This one's pretty obvious. It's stuff you can use to buy things. And here's Schiff's big point. Nobody had to pass a law saying you must accept gold. People all over the world who had never even heard of each other independently came to the same conclusion. Yep, this shiny, heavy, indestructible stuff works great for trade. The free market chose it. And finally, the big one, a store of value. This goes right back to that shipwreck. Because gold literally doesn't fall apart, it holds on to its value. If someone owes you an ounce of gold, you know that when they pay you back, it's going to be worth the same as when you lent it. Think about that compared to paper money, which, as we all know, can lose its value pretty fast when governments decide to print more of it.
Okay, so that's the historical argument. Makes sense. But what about today? This brings us to probably the biggest knock against gold you hear now, that it's basically useless. It just sits in a vault. It doesn't do anything.
And you've probably heard this a million times, right? A company's stock can pay you dividends. A rental property can give you income. Gold? It just sits there. It's what critics call a dead asset. It's not productive. It's just a lump.
But Schiff's counterargument here is really interesting. He says you're not just storing a lump of metal.
You're storing its future use. See, because gold is an amazing conductor and it never corrodes, it's becoming absolutely essential for all kinds of high-tech stuff. So when you own gold, what you really own is a piece of all that future technology.
And this chart really drives that point home. Forget the idea that it has limited use. The truth is, our industrial demand for gold has been steadily climbing. And with all the tech we're developing, that trend is likely going to speed up, not slow down. We're talking about everything from the smartphone in your pocket to advanced medical devices.
And that really is the final piece of the puzzle for Schiff. He's saying that owning gold isn't about being stuck in the past. It's a bet on the future. It's a bet that human ingenuity will keep finding more and more incredible uses for this one-of-a-kind metal, and that will keep making it more and more valuable.
So, this all brings us back to a huge question for our time. We live in a world of digital money and assets that can be created out of thin air with a few clicks. So what does money even mean anymore? What makes it real? Is there still a role for something ancient, physical, and indestructible like gold? Or have we moved past that for good? That right there is what everyone is trying to figure out.